Good evening, class, and welcome to today's lesson, which is on lesson 5.9, bar and circle graphs. We're going to go ahead and get started very, very quickly. I think you guys will kind of pick up on this pretty quick. Let's start by looking at the kind of comparing two graphs, a bar graph, which I have over here on the left, and a circle graph that I have over here on the right. Both of these graphs are favorite candies in Miss Lyons' classroom. And this one over here, favorite candy in Miss Lyons' math class. This one's a little bit smaller. It's a little bit more difficult to see. We could make it bigger by doing something like that. Then you can kind of take a look a little bit closer at what the percentages are. But we're going to head and kind of keep it fairly small so that way we can kind of compare the two. Essentially, what I have over here is my bar graph. I've got a title across the top. I've got my y-axis labeled with numbers. I have my x-axis labeled with candy. Basically, this is telling me that if I look at the number of Hershey's, there were 2 students that liked Hershey's, 1 student that liked M&M's, 1 student that liked Tic Tacs. I personally don't like Tic Tacs because I don't think they're really candy. I think it's more of a breath mint, but whatever. And we have 5 kids that liked Kit Kats and 8 kids that liked Skittles. So Skittles seem to be the favorite. Now let's compare the bar graph that we have over here to the circle graph. It covers the exact same data, but it's kind of presented in a little bit different way. Again, we have our red box, which means Hershey's, green, which is M&M's, blue, which is Tic Tacs. I don't know what color this is, maybe gray, which represents Kit Kats, and then yellow, which is the Skittles. You'll notice the big difference here is in a pie graph, their numbers are not shown. It is percentages. So as we try and read, and it's a little bit difficult, but I think we'll just go ahead and do this. This is about, looks to me like it's about 11, I don't know, 0.4% maybe. This one looks like it could be about 5.9%. This one is the same, 5.9%. This one looks like it is about 29.1%. And then this one over here looks to be about 47.1%. And again, it's hard for me to read, but I'm basically trying to read those images right here. Now, these exact numbers, we can calculate those because we know that there were a total of 17 students that voted. And to get the percentages, all I have to do is go over here and look. If I have 2 students that liked Hershey's, I would say 2 out of 17. When I divide those 2, that should give me a decimal. When I get my decimal, I just move my decimal 2 places over to the right to get my percent. So you can see kind of how this relates to decimals and fractions and percents, but that's how they're getting these numbers here. It's 2 people out of 17. This is 1 person out of 17. 1 person out of 17. These guys, I believe, were 5 people out of 17. And these guys were the most. They were 8 people out of 17, like Skittles. So you can kind of see and compare the two, bar graphs and circle graphs. Let's take a quick look at our next page. Next page is just an example of a bar graph. And in this one, it's a question that I might ask you is, how did you get to the supermarket today? Or maybe, how did your parents get to the supermarket? Well, we go over here. We got to collect our data first. Maybe, I don't know, 2 people maybe walked. And let's say 4 people drove a car. 2 people took the bus. 1 person biked. 1 person drove a horse, or rode a horse. I guess you don't drive horses. And let's say 6 people rode their trucks. So now we got to make our bar graph. I've got 2 lines drawn. This one down here is my x-axis. Let's label that here. This is the x-axis. This is the type of vehicle. Then I have my y-axis, which is up here. My y-axis is the number of people. Okay, the number of people that picked each of these. So we said earlier that 2 people walked, so I would shade in up to 2. 4 people drove their car. 2 people rode the bus. 1 person rode a bike. 1 person rode their horse. Actually, this bar should be up just a little bit, so that might be an issue, but I'll fix that later. And 6 people. 2, 3, 4, 5. Did I go too high? I did. Let's bring that down. There we go. 6 people rode in their truck. So here's another good, easy way. It's got bars on it, so this is truly a bar graph. You are going to be making a bar graph today during class time. When you work in class, you're going to start on page 150, kind of analyzing these two data tables. Both of them deal with vegetable crops. You're going to want to talk about their similarities and differences, so you can write those down. We kind of did that already in class. And then you're going to want to go to 151. And on 151, you need to each individually answer question number 1. And then as a class, someone's going to come up to the front of the board and record all of the kids who did cookies, all of them that chose granola bars, all of them that chose candy bars, all of them that chose fruit as their favorite snack, and all of them that chose other. You'll get a total, and then you are going to be asked to create a bar graph. Create a bar graph. Now, you'll notice we have this entire graphing area. It is totally okay to skip lines, to color in and bar in one, a block of 2 blocks together to equal 1 if you want to. That's entirely up to you. That way we're not squishing all of our bar graph into that area. Once you are done with 151, then you can work individually on your math boxes on 152. That's pretty much it for today's video lesson. We do have another video lesson that I'm going to do right now, so just sit tight. You can watch that one. It's only going to be about 10 minutes, and then you should have plenty of time to work on your schoolwork. All right? We'll talk to you in a few minutes. Bye-bye.